They found his camera still running, battery almost dead, lens cracked, covered in mud. But the man who filmed it was nowhere. No footprints leading out, no signs of a struggle, no body, just the camera, still recording the trees. This is the story of Daniel Marsh, a 34-year-old man who walked into one of Canada's most remote wilderness areas and never walked out. What happened to him is still unknown, but his camera captured everything, or almost everything. Daniel Marsh grew up in a small town in Ontario, Canada. Quiet kid. Loved the outdoors. His neighbors called him dependable. His sister called him stubborn. Both were right. By his early 30s, Daniel had become obsessed with solo wilderness survival. Not as a hobby, as a discipline. He read every book, watched every video, practiced fire starting, water filtration, navigation by stars. He didn't just want to survive in the wild. He wanted to prove he could disappear into it completely and come back. In late September, he planned his most ambitious trip yet. 14 days, completely alone. No phone, no GPS, just a compass, a pack, and a camera. He wanted to document everything. People think survival is dramatic, he told his sister the night before he left. But it's mostly just patience, just staying calm. She asked if he was scared. He smiled. A little. That's the point. The location he chose was the Temagami Wilderness Reserve. Over 1 million acres of boreal forest in northern Ontario. Dense, cold in autumn. Beautiful in a way that feels indifferent to human life. He parked his truck at a trailhead, left a note on the dashboard with his planned route and expected return date. October 3rd, or he never made it back. His first footage was shot the morning of day 1. He's relaxed, almost cheerful. The trees are still gold and red. Autumn hasn't turned hard yet. Day 1, he says to the camera. I'm following the eastern ridge toward the river. Weather looks clean, feeling good. He moves well. He knows what he's doing. You can tell. He builds a solid camp by day 2. Lean-to shelter with pine boughs. Fire started on the first try. He filters water from a stream and holds the bottle up to the camera. Clean water, he says. That's a good day. By day 3, he's deeper in. The trees are thicker now. The trail he marked on his map has faded into something unofficial. Animal paths, mostly. He films a set of moose tracks near the riverbank. Big one, he says. Passed through last night. Everything looks fine, but there's something small. Something easy to miss. He keeps glancing off to his left, just for a moment. Then back to the camera. He does it 3 times in one clip. He never says why. Day 5. The weather changes. It comes fast in northern Ontario. Anyone who's been there will tell you. 1 hour the sky is clear. The next, it's the color of ash and moving hard. Daniel films the clouds building from the south. Going to get cold tonight, he says. I'll make camp early. He does. Good decision. But the temperature drops faster than expected. By nightfall, the thermometer on his pack reads -4 Celsius. His shelter wasn't built for this. Not this early in October. He runs the fire hot all night. By morning, he's tired, short on sleep. And the storm has left 6 inches of snow on the ground. His map markers are buried. He films himself standing at a fork in the trees. 2 directions. Both look the same. Okay, he says quietly. Okay. Think. He chooses left. It was the wrong choice. We know that now. Day 6. He realizes he's gone the wrong way. He films himself sitting against a fallen log, pack open, compass in hand. I overshot the ridge by at least 2 kilometers, he says. His voice is controlled. Experienced hikers know this voice. It's the voice you use when you're managing your own panic. a disaster. I just need to correct course and get back to the river. He moves all day. He doesn't find the river. By day 7, his food is down to 3 days of rations. He's rationing already. Hunger makes thinking harder. He knows this. He says it to the camera. When you're hungry, your brain starts lying to you, telling you you're closer than you are, or further. It messes with distance. He pauses. Just have to stay sharp. That night, the camera captures something strange. He's set up camp. The fire is low. He's almost asleep. Then he sits up. He picks up the camera, points it at the dark between the trees. He doesn't say anything. He just stares. For 47 seconds, he films nothing but darkness. Then he sets the camera down, lies back. The footage continues for another 2 minutes before he reaches over and stops it. When asked about this later, his sister said, "He never mentioned it. Not in anything he left behind." That's the part that bothers me most. Day 8. He's moving again, but slower. His right ankle is wrapped with strips of his base layer. He twisted it sometime in the night. He doesn't film the injury directly. He just films himself walking, favoring the left. Minor setback, he tells the camera. Still mobile. That's what matters. But you can hear the pain in his breathing. He finds a creek by afternoon, follows it north. This is good wilderness logic. Water leads somewhere, usually. But the creek splits, then splits again. He picks wrong twice. By evening, he's in a valley he doesn't recognize. The trees here are older, bigger. They block out what's left of the light earlier than he expected. He films himself making camp in near darkness. Day 8, he says. I'm further east than I should be, or west. I'm honestly not sure anymore. He stops himself, takes a breath. I'm going to sleep. Fresh eyes tomorrow. There's a long pause before he shuts the camera off. I just want to go home, he says. That quiet sentence, those 6 words, when they stay with you. Now we reach the part of this story that search teams, investigators, and his family have analyzed frame by frame. The camera footage from days 9 through 11. This is where things become hard to explain. Day 9 opens with Daniel sitting completely still. He hasn't started a fire yet. The light is early morning gray. His breath fogs in the cold. He's looking at something just past the camera frame, something we can't see. When he finally speaks, his voice is different, quieter, slower. I think I heard something last night. Something moving. Big. He pauses. It stopped right outside camp. Just stopped and stayed there for a long time. He looks directly into the lens. I didn't sleep after that. He doesn't say what he thinks it was. He doesn't speculate. He just stands up, shoulders his pack, and starts walking. The camera captures over an hour of footage from that morning. He moves through the trees, saying almost nothing. Occasionally, he stops, listens. At one point, he crouches, films the ground. There are tracks, deep ones, but they're not clean. The snow has partially melted and refrozen. The shape isn't clear. Something came through here, he says. He stands. He looks behind him, then keeps walking. Day 10 is the longest footage he recorded, nearly 3 hours, shot in fragments throughout the day. He's weak now, visibly. His movements are slower. He stops more often. His face is pale under the dirt and stubble. He finds some wild rose hips, films himself eating them. Vitamin C, he says, almost to himself. Better than nothing. But there's something else on day 10, something that appears for less than 4 seconds of footage. In the afternoon, he sets the camera on a rock and sits in front of it to rest. The forest behind him is still. Just trees. but at the edge of the frame, far back, between two spruce trees. There is something dark, still, tall. It doesn't move for the entire time he's sitting there. Daniel never looks back. He's staring at his hands, resting. Then he picks up the camera, walks on. The shape is gone, or it was never there. Investigators noted it. They couldn't identify it. One analyst said it was likely a dark spruce trunk angled by shadow. Another wasn't sure. Nobody is sure. Day 11 begins with a close-up of Daniel's face. He's made a decision. You can see it. Something has changed in his eyes. I'm going to head due south, he says clearly. No more following the creek, no more guessing. Due south until I hit a road or a clearing. That's the plan. He sounds more certain than he has in days. I'm going to be okay. He says it like he's convincing himself. Maybe he is. He turns the camera around, pans slowly across the forest. If someone finds this, he says. He stops. I'm heading south, day 11, October 13th, due south. He clicks the camera off. That is the last footage Daniel Marsh ever recorded. What happened in the hours after he filmed that final message? No one knows. His family says the Daniel in that last clip was still rational, still strategic. Heading south from where his camp was placed on the map was actually a reasonable plan. There was a logging road approximately 9 kilometers south of his last known position. 9 kilometers. Difficult terrain. But not impossible. Not for someone in reasonable health. But Daniel never reached that road. He never reached anything. The only clue to his final movements is what searchers found when they arrived. His sister reported him overdue on October 4th when he failed to contact the ranger station. Search and rescue teams entered the Temagami Reserve on October 5th. 3 teams, 12 people, 2 with dogs. They found his truck exactly where he left it. Notes still on the dashboard. They followed his documented route. Found his first camp, second camp, the marks of his fire rings, a ration wrapper. On day 4 of searching, they found Camp 11, his last camp. The shelter was intact. Fire long dead. Pack open, but not ransacked. His spare clothing was still inside. His water filter, his map. He'd left it all behind. 30 meters from the camp meant they found the camera. Face down in the snow, still on, battery at 2%. They say it was recording the ground. Just dirt and dead leaves. 6 hours of footage of nothing. Like he'd set it down and simply walked away. Or something had knocked it from his hand. The dogs tracked a scent heading south for about 400 meters. Then it stopped. Not faded, not diverged. Just stopped. Like he'd lifted off the ground. No body was ever found. No clothing, no equipment, no remains. Nothing. Search teams went back 3 more times over the following 2 years. Expanded the grid each time. Brought in aerial support. Ground-penetrating radar near the creek bed. Nothing. His case remains officially open. So what happened to Daniel Marsh? There are 3 explanations that investigators and wilderness experts have discussed publicly. None of them are satisfying. All of them are plausible. The first theory is the most common: exposure and disorientation. By day 11, Daniel was sleep-deprived, injured, hungry, and operating in sub-zero temperatures. Hypothermia doesn't always announce itself. It creeps. It distorts thinking. People suffering from late-stage hypothermia sometimes experience what's called paradoxical undressing, removing clothing in extreme cold because they feel a burning sensation. They wander. They make strange decisions. They go off trail. If Daniel collapsed in a dense area of the bush, in a valley or low hollow, It's possible that remains have simply not been found. The Temagami wilderness is enormous. Bodies have been lost there permanently before. It's a painful explanation, but it happens. The second theory involves an animal. Black bears are common in the Temagami Reserve. So are wolves. Neither typically attacks healthy humans. But Daniel was weakened, moving slowly in an area away from human activity. Wolves in particular will track injured prey for long distances, waiting. If there was an attack in a remote location, evidence could be scattered, consumed, buried under snow and seasons of decomposition. A wildlife biologist consulted on the case said this was possible, but noted that wolf attacks on adult humans are extraordinarily rare. Bear attacks that leave no trace at all are even rarer. Still, possible. The third theory is the hardest to talk about and the hardest to dismiss. Psychological disintegration, prolonged isolation, starvation, and sleep deprivation can cause something that researchers call wilderness psychosis. It's not common, but it's real. The mind, under extreme stress, can fracture, produce hallucinations, deep paranoia, complete disconnection from reality. Some investigators believe Daniel, in his final hours, may have experienced something like this. That what he heard outside his camp on night 9 was not an animal. That the shape between the trees on day 10 was not a shadow. That he was already somewhere else in his mind, and walked south not with a plan, but with a vision, a delusion, following something that wasn't there. Into the trees, into nothing. None of these theories explain the dog's losing his scent at 400 meters. None of them explain what he was looking at in that 47 seconds of darkness. None of them explain why a man who had just clearly stated his plan to survive left his entire pack behind. His sister visits the Temagami Reserve every October. She walks the trails. She doesn't speak much about it. She says it's just something she needs to do. He loved it there, she said in an interview 2 years after he vanished. He didn't fear it. That's the thing people don't understand. He wasn't afraid of the wilderness. He respected it. She paused. Maybe that's not enough. Maybe respect isn't enough. She looked out the window when she said that, like she was looking at trees. Daniel Marsh went into the forest with a camera to prove that a prepared man can face wild nature and return. His camera came back. He didn't. Maybe the wilderness took him cleanly, cold and dark and without ceremony. Maybe his mind took him somewhere the search teams couldn't follow. Maybe something else happened on day 11 that no camera ever captured. We don't know. We may never know. But here is what stays with me every time I read this case. That final video. Day 11. His voice calm, his plan clear. I'm going to be okay. He believed that. He meant it. And somewhere between that sentence and the 400 meters of tracked footprints, Daniel Marsh disappeared from the world. The forest kept its silence. It still does. Sometimes the wilderness doesn't just take lives. It erases them, completely, quietly, like they were never there at all.